It all started with this deputy knocking on my cabin door one crisp morning up at Willow Creek Lake in southern Tennessee. Lights flashing from his cruiser like some kind of bad dream. And there she was, standing right behind him with her arms folded tight. That smug look on her face like she'd just won the lottery. "Sir, I need you to vacate the premises," he says, hand hovering near his belt, all official-like. "Miss Whitaker from the Lakeside Estates HOA filed a trespassing report. Says this spot's under their jurisdiction now." I just sat there in my creaky Adirondack chair, sipping black coffee from my chipped mug, staring out at the water shimmering like glass, and thought, well, this is it. The moment some power-hungry neighbor decides my quiet life's gotta fit her rulebook. But boy, was she in for a surprise. I'm Jack Harlan, pushing 68 now, spent my whole career in heavy construction, laying foundations for shopping malls and highways before retiring to this patch of earth I'd bought dirt cheap back in '98. Nothing but tangled oaks and red clay hugging the lake's edge then. Built the cabin myself, hammered every nail, wired the lights, even carved the mantel from a fallen tree. It's more than wood and stone to me. It's where I scattered my wife's ashes after she passed, where my daughter Emily brings the grandkids to skip rocks and roast marshmallows, whispering stories about their grandma under the stars. Didn't bother nobody, just lived simple, fishing at dawn, tending a vegetable patch that fed half the locals come summer. Then about 6 years back, this fancy development rolls in a couple miles down the shore. Big McMansions with manicured lawns, private marinas, and yeah, an HOA run like a dictatorship. And at first I shrugged it off. Their world, my world, separate as oil and water. But Susan Whitaker, the HOA queen bee, she wasn't content with her gated kingdom. She wanted more control, more uniformity, like my rustic setup was an eyesore spoiling her perfect view. Started with polite notes in my mailbox. "Dear resident, please align your dock with community aesthetics. Remove non-compliant structures." I chuckled, tossed them in the fire pit. My land predated their whole setup, deeds clear as day. No HOA strings attached. But Susan? She didn't like being ignored. It bruised her ego, made her feel small in that big house of hers, overlooking the lake she thought she owned. Things escalated slow at first, like a storm building on the horizon. Drones buzzing over my roof, snapping pics of my weathered siding. Volunteers with their designer dogs wandering too close to my fence, jotting notes on clipboards. Then the citations piled up. Fake fines for visual disharmony, warnings about my old truck parked in plain sight, even threats to tow my boat if I didn't pay up. I stayed quiet, didn't bite back. Part of me figured it'd blow over. But deep down, I knew folks like Susan feed on silence, mistaking it for weakness. Memorial weekend hit. Emily and her hubby Tom driving up with the boys, little Jake and Mikey, all excited for burgers on the grill and cannonballs off the dock. We're laughing, kids reeling in sunfish, when this white SUV screeches down my drive. Doors slam, and out storms Susan with two sidekicks in matching vests, looking like wannabe cops. "You're in violation!" she yells, pointing a manicured finger. "This gathering's unauthorized. Lake access restricted to compliant members only." Tom starts to argue, but I wave him off, step forward calm as can be. "Susan, you're mistaken. This ain't your turf." Her eyes narrow, voice dripping venom. "I've called the authorities already. Let's see how tough you are when they haul you out." I just pour myself some iced tea, sit back on the porch, and wait, heart steady, but mind racing. 'Cause I knew the ace up my sleeve. Those old surveys showing I owned not just the cabin, but 600 acres wrapping around their precious enclave, including the only paved road in. Sheriff pulls up 20 minutes later. Old buddy of mine, Mike Dawson, known him since he was a kid bagging feed at the co-op. Deputy reads the complaint, glances at me funny, then radios dispatch. His face shifts from stern to sheepish real quick. Mr. Harlan? Records say you own, well, pretty much everything here, including parts of Lakeside Estates." Susan's jaw drops like a stone in the water, pale as a ghost, sputtering, "That's impossible, he's bluffing." But it wasn't. I'd quietly scooped up parcels over the years, protecting what was mine from vultures like her. That lit the fuse. Next morning I wake to chains rattling. She's padlocking my gate from outside, smirking through the bars. "Per Ordinance 14C, access denied till you comply," she says, all superior, clipboard in hand. I stare her down. "You just trapped a man on his own property, Susan. Think that through." She winks. "Prove it's yours, old-timer. Good luck." Fury bubbled up then. Not hot rage, but cold resolve. She'd crossed from annoyance to invasion, attacking my sanctuary 'cause her control freak ways couldn't stand a free spirit next door. Called my lawyer buddy, Clara Voss. She'd handled my titles forever. And my pal on the county board, Ed Riley, who owed me from poker nights. By lunch, I'd filed a blockade on their access road. My land, my rules now. Susan fired back with bogus sanctions, private guards shoving papers at me, banned from HOA zones for disruptive behavior. I laughed outright. Y'all got no teeth. Try enforcing that. But she upped the ante, filing a phony wetlands violation with the feds, claimed I was dumping runoff into protected areas. Agent shows up, all badge and clipboard. I let him poke around, snapping my own pics while they found zilch. False report'll be noted, he mutters, handing me his card. That's when I dug deeper. Clara pulled records on Lakeside, and lo and behold, their clubhouse sat on shaky permits, with an illegal sewer line snaking through my woods, right into a conservation zone. Susan must have known, projecting her dirt onto me to cover her tracks. Classic bully move, born from insecurity, fearing her empire's cracks showing. I shaved, suited up, first time in years, and crashed their HOA meeting in that gaudy hall with crystal lights and fake marble. Walk in, head swivel, Susan's eyes bulge. This is members only. I slap down deeds, photos of their pipe. Seeing as your crap's literally on my land, I reckon I qualify. Remove it in 48 hours or lawsuits fly. Gasps ripple. Her lackey chokes on coffee. She stammers, "You wouldn't dare." I lean in. Watch me. Tension's boiled. She sends a crew to bulldoze a path through my yard claiming permits. I hand the foreman my title. "Turn around, son, before you dig your own grave." He packs up quick. Then Susan shows, red-faced, yelling, "You humiliated me. Think you're king 'cause of some dirt?" I hand her a toll notice. $50 per car on my road starting Monday. "You locked me in. Now I'm unlocking your checkbooks." Her hands shake, dropping the paper. "You can't," but I could and did. IRS audit hits next. Her doing, no doubt, probing my holdings. I lay out every receipt, every donation I'd made to the vet's hall in my wife's name. Agent leaves impressed. Clean as a whistle. Susan's unraveling now, pushing a shady vote to redraw maps, claiming my deed's a glitch, trying to steal it outright, driven by jealousy of my independence. Her life a hollow show of power. I freeze their developments with old water rights I'd snagged cheap, blocks everything for months. Then she slaps condemnation tape on my cabin. "Unsafe structure. Demolish imminent." That hit deep. This place held my heart. Echoes of lost love. Kids' giggles. No more games. I stormed the town hall that night, packet in hand. 94 pages of her lies, forged votes, drone spies, pipe proofs. Mic in grip. Folks, Susan Whitaker's terrorized us with fake rules, intimidated neighbors, even doctored pics to bulldoze my home. Crowd murmurs. She jumps up. "Harassment, remove him." But Clara steps in with rights docs, Ed with statements, and 3 ex-board members testify. "She fined me for my bird feeder," one says, voice cracking. "Threatened my kids' playdates." Mayor eyes Susan. "Care to explain?" She crumbles. "It's a vendetta." But the room turns. I announce the freeze. No more builds till investigations wrap. Cheers mix with shocks. She bolts, humiliated. Retaliation came swift. Woke to flames, licking my dock at 3 a.m. Reek of kerosene. Cam's caught it, her nephew's truck, him dousing and lighting. Sheriff Mike. "Arson, clear as day." Neighbors trickle in next day. Old Walt and his girl Lily. We backed her once, but this? Burning a man's legacy? Here's emails proving her schemes. Board crumbles. Resignations flood. HOA charter yanked. Susan sues me for slander, petty jab. But then Senator Hale calls. "Your fight's inspiring a protection bill. Testify." As I prep, a thug shows on my shore at dawn, pistol glinting. "Whitaker says you ruined her. Time to pay." I hit the silent alarm, stall him. "Cameras got you, son. She's the ruin." Deputies swarm. He drops, cuffed, spilling her plot. Susan's arrested. Conspiracy, fraud, the works. Mugshot goes viral. HOA dissolves. Bill passes as the Harlan Act. Peace returned. The lake whispers again. Grandkids splash without fear. But sometimes I wonder, was Susan just a monster? Or a product of communities gone wrong, where rules eclipse humanity? Made me question if I'd gone too far, freezing their dreams to save mine. Justice or vengeance? What do you think? Drop a comment below. Ever dealt with an HOA nightmare? Who's right in these land wars? Share your story. might just spark the next big change.